You're not stuck because God isn't answering your prayers. You're stuck because you're waiting for him to do what he's already asked you to steward. Faith was never meant to be passive. It's active trust. And if you've been praying for clients, but avoiding the hard, sometimes uncomfortable action it takes to get them, this episode is going to challenge you in the best way. Because here's the truth. God can bless your steps, but he won't bless your standing still. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. That word commit is an action word. So if you've been wondering how to fully trust God with your business growth and take bold strategic action, this episode's for you. Let me make this super clear. If you find yourself nodding to any of these, you're in the right place. Maybe you pray for business growth, but fear keeps you from making bold moves. Maybe you feel awkward or maybe even guilty about actively selling or cold calling because it feels too pushy for a Christian. Maybe you've been waiting for organic growth to just happen because you don't want to seem salesy. Maybe deep down, you know God gave you this business, but you're second guessing how to grow it. If that's you, keep listening because we're going to get practical and biblical about this. My hope is that you walk away from this episode with these three things: that you'll understand why faith and strategy aren't opposites. They actually work together. That you'll learn how to approach selling and outreach in a way that honors God. That you'll have one simple faith-driven action step to get your next client this week. Sound good? All right, let's dive in. I want to start with a quick story because I've been exactly where you are. Early in my coaching business, I spent weeks, honestly months, praying for new clients, but I avoided actually reaching out to people. I felt uncomfortable cold calling or following up because I told myself, if God wants me to have clients, they'll find me. But here's what God reminded me of through Luke 16:10. Luke 16:10 told me, one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. Faithfulness meant showing up even when it was uncomfortable, sending that email, making that call, inviting someone into a conversation about coaching. So I started praying before every outreach, asking God for favor and for the right heart to genuinely serve the person on the other end of that line. And you know what? You know what happened? Not only did I sign new clients, but those conversations built relationships that continue to bless my business to this day. That's when it clicked for me. Faith and action are not at odds. Faith fuels action. So let me break this down into 4 big truths that will help you trust God while still taking bold action. Number 1 is inspiration. God gives the why, but expects you to steward the how. Romans 12:11 says, do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Your ambition isn't wrong. In fact, when serving people through your business, ambition is worship when it's aligned with helping others. God gave you the why to serve, to provide, to impact lives, but he expects you to take ownership of the how. Number 2, vision. Faith doesn't replace a plan. It actually fuels it. Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Faith isn't sitting back waiting for clients to knock on your door. Faith is praying for guidance, creating a plan, and trusting God to direct and redirect your steps as you move forward. So if you've been hesitant to create a strategy because you think it means you're not trusting God, flip that belief. Strategy is stewardship. Number 3, discipline. Selling and reaching out is stewardship, not self-promotion. Colossians 3:23 reminds us, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. That includes cold calling, email, DMing potential clients. When your heart is to serve, outreach is not manipulation, it's ministry. You are inviting someone into a solution that could change their life or business. Pray before you pick up the phone or write that message. Ask God to help you genuinely serve and then go for it. 4, resilience. Obedience doesn't always equal immediate results. Galatians 6:9 says, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Some people will say no. Some people will ignore your message, but every step of obedience is planting a seed. God can grow that seed later. Your job is faithfulness. His job is the outcome. This is where the driven pillar of discipline comes in. Discipline is doing the right thing consistently, even when you don't feel like it. James 2:17 says, "So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." Faith shows up in your business when you consistently take steps forward, trusting that God is guiding your path and blessing your obedience. If you're tired of guessing or need someone to help you build both the mindset and the systems that honor God and grow your business, that's what I do in Driven Owner. We'll map out a growth plan, keep you accountable, and help you lead with both faith and structure without losing your family or your peace in the process. If that's what you need right now, I want to invite you to book a free strategy session with me. Let's go ahead and recap with one big idea. That idea is this: faith isn't waiting for God to drop clients in your lap. Faith is showing up consistently, trusting that He'll bless your steps. So here's your action step. Write down a list of 5 people that you can reach out to this week. Past contacts, warm leads, or even someone that you've been nervous to approach. Pray over that list. Ask God for favor, and then make those calls or send those messages with a servant's heart. Do that and watch how God moves through your obedience. Until next time, stay clear, stay focused, stay driven.